Hello, people. So, my planners and I are back for a February, let's call it a check in, to see where we, excuse me, to see where I have, I guess, succeeded in terms of being just a more productive Christina, being more, just being more in tune with the things that I want to do. We often talk about self care as in, this thing of bubble baths and, getting a manicure, and those things are absolutely important. But something that I've just been more mindful of, I can I can trace most of these things back to advice from my therapist, but something I've been trying to be more mindful of is self care in terms of sticking to my goals and kind of sticking to the promises that I've made to myself about the way that I want my life to look. And so that brings us here. That brings us here. So January, I fell off. January, I fell off in terms of like the day to day tracking and such. But when it comes to actually getting things done, I do feel like I did that. And I'm saying that I fell off in tracking. Okay, this week I did. That week right there I did. And that week right there I did too. So we started, Lord, that week too. So it looks like I picked back up here with trying to really get myself in order and really do the things that I wanted to do. I had my January calendar written down. I wrote down one goal for what I wanted to do. Um, but that's something that I want to make sure to do in February. A friend of mine was talking about like her monthly goals, and it's something that I was supposed to do once I said what my goals for the year were going to be, was breaking down those goals for the year. Okay, so what does it look like on a month to month basis for for the things that you said that you wanted to do? What does that look like on a month to month basis? How are you working towards achieving those things that you said you wanted to see by the end of the year? That's something that I really need to pay attention to. I wrote down some some major goals for the year. Um, and then thinking about the things that I did in January, I we'll come back to that. But it is something that I want to focus on, because what I don't want to happen is that I hit the end of that I approach the end of 2021, and these things that I said that I wanted, these things that I've been saying that I wanted for the longest time, I've not done anything to get towards those things. Because if I haven't done anything to get towards those things, everything else that I've done is really going to pale in comparison, and it might end up kind of feeling like, okay, well, you didn't get anything done because you didn't get these things that were really important to you, or were supposedly really important to you. Those things didn't happen. And so what I am planning to do for February, I already have a couple of things written down here that I already know are coming up. And so what I'm going to be doing is kind of retooling, reframing my thinking, and really paying attention to really paying attention to staying on task and staying on my schedule. Now, even though I didn't do a lot of writing it down on a week to week basis, when I go back to my January, when I go back to my January calendar, all of these things, I did pretty good in terms of keeping this stuff in order. And so I do want to do that again for my February. Byron and I have been having like a business meeting type of thing on Sundays, because he helps me a lot with Warm Hughes Creative. He is part of that business. And so what I'll be doing is taking the notes from those meetings and writing down these important dates that we figured out. And another thing that writing down these important dates helps me with as a creator is, I feel like last year I did a lot of things, but in doing all these things, I didn't give some of them. time to breathe like they needed. I didn't give them time to breathe. I didn't give, certain projects that I wrote, I didn't give them really the push and the attention that they should have gotten, that they deserved. And so this helps me say, hey, well, I have behind the scenes, the audio version is going to release on my Soundwise site on February 14th. I don't need to introduce any new projects before then because I just had a book release a few days ago. I just had a book release on the 29th. And so between now and then, I need to be focused on pushing what's coming up, which is the behind the scenes audio release, and pushing what just happened, which is the maybe next time release. And that's not to say that I can't talk about anything except those things. It's saying that, do I really need to write a Valentine's short? No, I don't really need to. Now, if something comes to me, that's a completely other thing. If something comes to me and won't leave me alone, cool. But otherwise, I can let what I've already done breathe and give myself a little less pressure. I can kind of spread some stuff out a little bit more. And that kind of helps me, like I said, just give everything the time it needs, and it takes that pressure off of me, and also trains me into not always doing something because I have, I do a lot, and my brain is always moving, with this thing or that thing, with something new. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy, and it takes away from my ability to rest when I need to, because my brain is always going with the next thing. Um, Now, with that said, I do have something that I am going to be introducing probably this week. But the only reason I'm introducing that thing that I'm going to introduce this week, which I don't know why I'm being cagey about it, it's the mystery box thing, where there will be a book, there'll be a signed book in each box, and then other than that, it'll just be kind of like it'll be a little random, it'll be a little random. But I need to do that because I need to be packing a whole home to move to a whole new home. And so there's going to be a whole lot going on with that. And I need to, anything that I don't want to take to the new house with me, I need to work on, I need to work on getting that stuff out of here. Okay. So with all that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write down what I think my goals are going to be for February. What I've discovered for myself is that it's really important to stay kind of fluid with it. Stay kind of fluid with it so that there's not so much pressure, there's not so much stress, and there's room for me to kind of change and do whatever adjustments I need to. So one thing that I know I want to do for February is I want to have a successful, I don't even know if I've spelled that right, have a successful release for the behind the scenes audiobook. Okay, now what successful means it's probably going to be pretty subjective, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the reinvention of the rose audio. I'm going to go back to my metrics and everything for that, see what I did, see maybe what mistakes that I made, see where I did not do enough in terms of promoting and advertising, because the behind the scenes audio release is going to happen on my Soundwise too, because that's, you guys have heard me talk about how that's kind of what, that's the standard that I want to set for my audiobooks that I commission myself. So I don't know yet what a successful release for the behind the scenes audiobook is going to look like, but I'm going to figure that out, and then whatever I need to do in these 2 weeks leading up to that, I'm going to do that in order to push myself towards that goal. So that's one. I'm going to have 3. Another one that I want to do is I want to decide what projects to settle into leading into March. So, because of everything else that's going on, because I just had a release at the end of January, and because I have the audiobook release coming up on the 14th of February on Valentine's Day, I and with and so that's two things already this month. Um, I don't necessarily need another thing. Like if something, I can't say what will and won't happen, but I don't believe that February is going to have a heavy focus on writing for me. I think that because I already have two things and because I'm going to be, like I said, packing, moving, there's going to be a lot of stress and so on and so forth involved with that. There's a lot of moving parts in February. And so I don't want to try to shove myself into that box necessarily of making, of trying to make something happen. But what I can do is decide what I'm going to be focusing on probably once we're past the first week or so of March. I'll know definitely what my next full length novel project is going to be. And I'll be deciding on I think I want to decide on something to get started on for story time. Now, that's not saying that I won't write at all this month. Not saying that at all. Just saying that it's not going to be my focus. I'm not going to be going into this month with the idea of, okay, I need to release this month. I need to release this month. No, I just had something at the end of January and I have this audiobook coming up that I need to, that I really need to focus my energy on. And so that's where the energy is going to be focused. And my last thing for the month is going to be trying to figure out how to frame it. I'm just gonna write down content. So I have a big issue with publishing a project, publishing a book, whatever, and then once it's passed, I'm done with it. I'm gone. I've moved on. That's not good because there's always you're always picking up, new social media followers. There's always, the chance that somebody had taken a hiatus from social media and so they just didn't see what you were doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I should always be going back to the things that I did before and putting them back on center stage because I'm proud of the things that I've done. I'm proud of the books that I've written, the short stories that I've written, story time, different things like that. I'm proud of all of those things. And so I should make sure that people know about them. And so that's why I just wrote down content, revisiting projects, sharing quotes and stuff from the books, resharing those beautiful promos, sharing clips from audiobooks, from story time, all of those things, just kind of keeping that stuff in focus. And a big part of that is planning it ahead of time. Like last week I was able to talk about, well, Auntie Up has the anniversary this week, and I was able to share that for Wonder as well. But there needs to be planning ahead of time with that, and so my VA was actually able to make a document for me that has all of my book anniversaries, and so I'm able to use that going into the month to say, hey, okay, this book has this anniversary. Let me make sure to acknowledge that, or just different things like that is one way to keep the things that you're doing front of mind for your audience. And in this day and age and with what I do, keeping stuff available to my audience is important. It's honestly vital. Just like having that backlist of books to refer to, it doesn't mean much to have that backlist if you're never putting it in front of people and making it available to them. So that is a big thing. But in addition to, like, these things are all for my business. In addition to that, I want to get back to working out. We did the Daniel fast, and I honestly, like, I just did not have the energy. I wouldn't eat enough calories to have the energy to, to do that. But I really want to get back to working out because it's literally not even only about the weight. Like, because of my back injury and all of that, like, I really just feel terrible. Like, I really just feel bad. And I know that getting some movement going on is going to help me a lot. I also need to get packed as get packed with as little stress as possible. I started this a little bit, just kind of taking it a little at a time. I purged a bunch of stuff from my closet, stuff that I can't fit, stuff that I don't like, stuff that if I needed to get dressed right now, I would not put that on. So what is it in my closet for? So I purged a bunch of stuff like that from my closet. I'm probably going to go through and do it again just because some stuff, you know, you have to go through it a second time. I have to do it for the kids. I'm going to do it for in here in the office. I'm going to do it for my craft stuff. I'm going to do it for my kitchen, the bathrooms, all of that. Because the last thing I want to do is take a bunch of clutter into a new home. Like that's not, that's not it. Absolutely do not want to do that. And I also want to cook more creatively. I have been in a real slump, which I wasn't while we were fasting because I had to be creative because we were so limited in the things that we could eat, and so I had to be creative. But it's like maybe I burnt myself out doing that, but I really want to get back to it because we've been eating out a little too much, and I want to get back to that. So those are just some high level, I guess, personal goals that I have in addition to my business related goals that I have for the month. And so what I'm going to do, and I'm probably going to do this off camera because it's a lot of, you guys don't care to watch me. Right. But what I'm going to do is, first of all, figure out what the successful means in terms of this behind the scenes audio release. And then what kind of advertising do I need to do? If you guys have suggestions for for that audio book, promotions and stuff, the type of stuff that you like to see, please feel free to let me know because I need all the help I can get. So please feel free. And then, deciding what projects, that's not as immediate. And so with these first 2 weeks of February, I'll be able to focus on continuing to promote maybe next time, and then going into the promotion of the behind the scenes release, and then content just in general. I need to go through not just my meeting notes from my business meetings, but I need to go through that document that my VA created for me. I need to go through, there's a couple of other things that I need to look at and go ahead and write down those important dates so that I'm able to use that to get myself together. And so, yeah, that's it. I think that I'll be in a good place with everything once I get this high level view, get the monthly view settled in, and then from there I'll be able to go into these weekly views and figure out, okay, what's my major goal this week? What are some priorities, related to that major goal? What are some things that I need to write down? How am I going to be contributing to those goals every day? And it's not about making it stressful or not about making it too structured, but it absolutely is about when I come around here to March, I want to be able to say, yes, all those things that I said I wanted, I did them. So that's all for me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please let me know. Please also feel free to hit the like button and subscribe, share me, all of that good stuff, because one of my bigger goals overall that I haven't written down anywhere is I want to do more with this particular platform. I want to do more with this channel. And so, if you guys have things that you want to see, just let me know. But until next time, bye.